Hello and welcome back, guys. We're here at our micro allotments in a typical urban garden, and today we're going to be planting potatoes. So all that work we've done to prepare our plots, we're finally ready to put potatoes into the ground. So I'm going to show you how to set up your mini allotment and get some potatoes underway. So what I've done here to take out these trenches is used a piece of equipment that I've got here, and I've just used the width of a trowel for the width basically of the trench itself, and then we've got to be at least 4 inches down, if not a little bit more. So I've used the depth of the trowel, 3/4 of the trowel roughly, to actually estimate what sort of depth I need to be planting my potatoes at. So there's a simple tool and a simple rule for you to actually fetch out your trenches and measure how deep and how wide they need to be. I've mounded the sides up a little, and a few episodes ago we dealt with potatoes and chitting potatoes, and you can see these potatoes are now ready to go. They've been chitted, and you can see what chitting does is it gives you that little bit of an advantage around about 2 to 3 weeks in advance of other potatoes if you just pop them in the ground without carrying out the chitting process. So we're ready to go, really. What I tend to do is I'll put a little bit of fish blood and bone in the bottom of the trench before planting. Potatoes are a really hungry crop, so we're going to have to constantly feed these as they get underway. But to give them a really good start, we just sprinkle a little bit of fish blood and bone into the trench. There you go. And then we just work that into the trench. So literally just work it into the trench. And now we're all set to go. Now, spacings for these should be 10 to 12 inches. Okay, you can get a little bit smaller when you're on your mini micro allotment, but that's about it really. It's all about room for potatoes. So any closer, you start to get smaller potatoes and less of a crop. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop these into the trench with the chitted end upwards, and we start at this end and we work through. Look, guys, around about 10 to 12 inches, and use the best potatoes in the pack. Remember, you've got quite a few. Now this bed is approximately 3 feet by 4.5 feet, and I've actually got 15 tubers in this bed. So it's going to give me a fairly reasonable crop at the end of the day. So, you know, just small beds can produce quite a lot of potatoes. So there you go. We've got our potatoes in. Now we just need to feed that soil into it so we don't knock the potato over. And most of all, we don't break the stems that we've actually chitted. So we just feed that in and around the potato tubers, look. First of all on the side, and then just feed it over the top. Bring it in. And then just roughly level it off, guys. And there you go. And the final thing is to give them a really good soak. Obviously I'll finish the bed off when once I've got a chance to, but give that a really good soak in. Remember, the rose end needs to be down, and we just give that a really good soak. Now you'll need to constantly keep watering your potatoes and feeding as well, but there you go, they've had a nice soak in. Now if you've not got a plot of land and you still want to grow potatoes, then you can grow potatoes in containers and pots. So just show you a really quick trick. So here I've got quite a big bucket, and there's at least 4 inches of compost in there. You can use garden soil if you've not got compost because we're in lockdown, but the problem with garden soil is it's not weed free. So you might get weeds that actually come through and compete with your potatoes. Now these are called Maris Pear, and these are a second early, And again, they're going to take about 100 days to actually come through, and we're going to be popping a couple of these in. But as with the trenches, we pop a little bit of bone meal in there and just mix that round really well. And then we're just going to pop 2 of these in and just firm them in opposite one another. So 2 with really good eyes opposite one another, and firm that in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to top the compost up so we just can't see those eyes that are coming through. I'm going to drop a little bit of compost in there. And there you go, they're gone. Now as those potatoes develop and we get 6 to 8 inch stems, we then earth up, and it will be the same with the beds as well. Until we get to the top of the pot, they'll then produce leaves, and then, you know, in 100 days time we can start to harvest. Now finally, just to finish off this little video, if you haven't got a pot, then you can actually be using an IKEA bag. How about potatoes in an IKEA bag? So just your little IKEA bag, pop some holes in the bottom, and do exactly the same processes as I've done in the pot, and you'll grow potatoes quite successfully in an IKEA bag as you would in a pot, as you would in the ground. And there you go folks, that's how to grow your potatoes. So go on, get your potatoes in and start growing your potatoes for your bangers and mash.